Today I decided to make mixed berry muffins. You could also just make this blueberry muffins, but I had raspberries and blueberries. So what I'm going to do first is combine all of my wet ingredients. I am going to be using 2 large eggs. I'm also going to be using 1 stick of melted butter. I basically melted this in the microwave and just let it set until it came to room temperature, so it's not really hot. Next, I'm going to be adding 4 ounces or half a cup of whole milk. And I'm just going to add it right into the bowl. I'll also be adding 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I'm also going to be adding 4 ounces of sour cream. By the way, you guys, please be sure to click the subscribe button if you do like these recipe videos, and also be sure to click the bell icon to make sure that you get my latest, newest, and updated recipe videos. I sure would appreciate it. Okay, so after adding the sour cream, I am now going to add the zest of 1 large lemon. And if you have just smaller lemons, just make sure you have 1 tablespoon of lemon zest, but typically 1 large lemon does the trick. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where you have everything to make blueberry muffins, but you don't have a lemon, don't stress about it. You can exclude the lemon zest. But if you are at the store and you want to make this recipe, please buy a large lemon. The lemon zest does really add fantastic flavor to these muffins. It pairs so well with the blueberries and raspberries. So that's my advice. So now I'm just going to give everything a really good whisk. And before I forget, I am also going to add sugar. I'm going to be adding 1 cup of sugar. Now that everything is added together, I'm just going to continue mixing and combining everything well. Now I'm going to start on my dry ingredients. Here I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I have added 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and I'm just going to give that a really good mix. Now, if you do not have cornstarch, you can just add an extra 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, but I like to add cornstarch because it does sort of give it a different texture. Okay, so now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm also going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now, if you are using unsalted butter, you might want to add a 1/2 teaspoon, but I'm actually using salted butter, and I failed to mention that earlier, but I will put that in the description below. So now I'm just going to give all of my dry ingredients a good mix. Once it's all combined, I'm just going to set it aside until I'm ready to start mixing the batter. So right now I am going to start working on my crumble topping, and this is really easy. It's a 3-ingredient topping. Here I have 2/3 cup of all-purpose flour. To that I will be adding 1/3 cup of sugar, and I'm just going to add that right into the bowl and combine it. I'm also going to be adding 1 stick of salted butter. Now, if I only had unsalted butter, I would add a pinch of salt just to balance everything out. But I have salted butter today, so it's 3-ingredient crumble topping. So I'm going to mix the flour and sugar, and then I'm going to take my cold salted butter and just cut it in. You could use your hands, you could use one of those pie crust dough cutter things, and you could also use my favorite, 2 butter knives. But either way, butter knives, use clean hands, do what works for you, and ultimately you are going to have a texture that's like crumbly sand. It's going to be in chunks, and I'm starting with cold butter because I find it easier to work into the flour sugar mixture. My crumble is now combined and ready to use. So I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to start mixing this batter. But first, you'll want to add 6 ounces of blueberries and 6 ounces of raspberries, or you can just use all blueberries, and add it to your dry ingredients first. That is very important because that will prevent it from settling to the bottom of your muffin. It'll help the blueberries and raspberries basically stay distributed throughout the muffin and not just on the bottom. So I'm going to put most of them into my flour mixture. I'm going to leave some out because I will top them just so each muffin you can kind of see on the top that it has fruit. So I'm going to add my blueberries as well, and again just leave a couple out so you can just top each muffin. And then I'm going to make sure that all of my blueberries and raspberries are coated in this flour. And once that is done, I am going to start mixing this batter and making these delicious mixed berry muffins. Okay, so once I'm done lining this muffin tin, I am going to start scooping in the batter into each muffin cup, and I'm using a 1/4 cup measure to try to get these as even as possible. On a good day, I can get around 18 muffins, but today I got 16, which is not bad, but you can definitely try for 18 muffins or a dozen and a half. While I'm adding the crumble to the tops of these muffins, I wanted to make a couple of suggestions. If you choose not to make the crumble, just maybe you don't have enough for the ingredients, you could also opt to add some coarse sugar, something like turbinado sugar or just regular sugar to finish off the tops as they bake. You could also do, and this is one of my favorite things to do with muffins, you can make a mixture of vanilla extract, maybe a cup of powdered sugar and a couple tablespoons of water, and mix that up and drizzle a glaze on top of these muffins. It's absolutely up to you, but those are some other options if you choose not to use the crumble. Okay, so I'm just putting last finishing touches on these muffins, and I am going to be baking this in a preheated oven at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes, or until a toothpick comes out clean and your muffins are done. So today I decided to make muffins to go alongside breakfast. So I woke up early and I'm making these muffins, and I can't wait for everyone to eat one for breakfast. Pretty much a muffin and a cup of coffee goes a long way in this house. Okay, so into the oven, I'm going to be placing my muffins, and the rest of the batter I'll put in a separate tin just to finish out all the muffins. I think everyone smells baked goods in this house because they're starting to rustle and wake up. So one tip I do want to give you is that when your muffins are done, allow them to cool, because when you want to peel back the muffin liner that you bake them in, it'll prevent it from sticking to the liner if you cool it, because if you peel it while it's hot, it'll stick too much to the liner and you might lose that tasty muffin. By the way, I think this kid approves of his breakfast muffin. Whether you decide to add mixed berries or just blueberries, these muffins are delicious and they're my go-to recipe. So I hope you guys subscribe, like, and share. Please be sure to click that bell icon to get my newest videos. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.